Welcome to the dansports.tips MLB Daily Fantasy Preview Show for today, the 9th of September. I will be taking a look at everything you need for your daily fantasy needs on DraftKings today. Starting pitchers, stacks of the day, how we can construct a lineup to maximise our point scoring potential, foundation players that should be used as a foundation to build a winning lineup on, and a value player at each position. For anyone that hasn't had the opportunity to sign up and play Daily Fantasy Sports with DraftKings yet, I will pop a link in the description below this video that will enable you to do that today. Starting pitchers, there are loads of options today. It's a wonderful day when you don't even have to toy with taking Michael Pineda for strikeout upside. We have a simple motto on the show today. The show is, don't suck today. We did yesterday. It wasn't a very good day. And I'm completely knackered from having stayed up till 5 AM local time to watch the Broncos and the Panthers last night in the NFL. So, jumping in with starting pitchers, Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins is 12,700. Now, obviously, it is Jose Fernandez at home. The fact that he's facing Clay Kershaw in opposition does make you wonder about whether or not he can score the win. But Fernandez, whose recent numbers paint a picture of concern, going 1-4 with a 4.54 ERA in his last 7, is not a problem in his home ballpark. He's only ever lost there 2 or 3 times. He had that rare home loss against St. Louis within the last 7 games where he allowed 5 runs. That was as many runs as he has allowed in the other 8 of his last 9 home starts, which includes such lineups as the Cubs. He shut out the reigning champion Royals through 7, his last trip to the Hill at Marlins ballpark. He is top level for strikeouts. He's got 224 in 160 and 1/3 innings this season, and anytime he's pitching at home, he is the top player pitcher. Jon Lester for 12,100 of the Chicago Cubs is close behind him. Lester has been simply excellent lately. He's gone 5-0 with a 1.35 ERA in his last 7 starts. His strikeout numbers are sufficient. He's got 164 in 169 innings, and he's now drawing a top 3 unit for strikeouts that has had issues with lefties at times this season in the Houston Astros. Lester looks a solid play with some strikeout upside coming off of a complete game against San Francisco in his last start. Carlos Martinez of the St. Louis Cardinals for 10,300. Now, sure enough, the Brewers exploded on the Cardinals last night, but Martinez is 7-2 with a 2.59 ERA across his last 15 starts. The strikeouts for him are below average with 143 in 164 and 1/3 on the year, but as he showed 2 starts ago against Milwaukee, he can beat those numbers. He threw 6 innings with 13 strikeouts that day, allowing just a single run against Milwaukee. Now, obviously, that is the top end of the projections. But that is the upside that we play with here. A pitcher who has pitched at least 5 innings and amassed at least 8 strikeouts in all 3 starts that he's pitched against the Brewers. All of those were in Milwaukee. He's obviously in St. Louis today this season. Danny Salazar of the Cleveland Indians for 9,000. I'm willing to play Salazar at this point, at this price, almost every time. After the start he left injured against the White Sox and a poor start against Oakland to follow that one up, he has pitched only 11 innings in his last 2 starts, allowing 3 earned runs, though he struck out 21 batters across those 11 innings against Texas and Miami. The Twins are ranking in the top 6 in baseball for strikeouts this year. This is arguably the top upside play on the slate today. Tyler Chatwood of the Colorado Rockies for 7,700. There is absolutely no doubt that Chatwood has been off for a little while now, while allowing 15 runs across his last 4 starts, with a disabled list stint in the middle of those starts. He is a ground ball pitcher, which is obviously what you'd look for if you're Colorado. You know, you're going to want pitchers to keep the ball on the ground when your home ballpark is Coors Field. Pitching in Petco today is a massive park upgrade for him, and strikeout potential as well, as only Milwaukee have struck out more than San Diego this year. Chatwood does only have 92 strikeouts in 132 and 1/3 innings on the year, but his only start at Petco this year was an 8 innings, 3-hit shutout with 7 strikeouts. That, like Carlos Martinez, is probably the top end of the projections for a struggling pitcher today. This is about as good a matchup as you could get to get yourself back on track, though. Lest we forget, Tyler Chatwood is the pitcher who allowed 3 earned runs across over 40 innings in his first 6 starts on the road this season. That shows you he can get the job done away from Coors, and I think for 7,700 he is a reasonable gamble play today. And Stephen Brault of the Pittsburgh Pirates for 4,000. He has improved by the start. He is still looking to pick up his first win. The last time he did pitch only 5 innings, but he allowed just 1 run, striking out 5 against Milwaukee. Now, when you look at his bare numbers, I don't think there is much strikeout upside here. He's got 17 strikeouts in 19 innings across the 4 starts he's made this year. However, 2 of those games were against Milwaukee, who lead the league in strikeouts. That being said, if you get between 5 and 6 solid innings with a couple of strikeouts at a price of 4,000, that's all you need for him to be value for you. And if he gets the win for the bonus on top, then happy days. Looking at stacks of the day, I'm going to start with a home run hunt for the first stack. The Pittsburgh Pirates ballpark isn't great for power, but Tim Adelman of Cincinnati has given up 7 home runs across his last 3 starts. 2 of those homers came in Anaheim, which isn't exactly Coors Field either. Obviously, I'm aware Great American Ballpark is a good hitter's park. I'll take outfielder Gregory Polanco for 5,000, who has a home run and the platoon advantage with Adelman. He's hit .265 with 21 homers and 12 steals this year. Outfielder Andrew McCutchen for 3,900. He's got 20 home runs on the year, 2 in his last 7 games. And third baseman Young Ho Kang for 4,900. He's hitting .257 with 17 homers on the year. He's hit .435 with 4 home runs in his last 7 games. It is also Jimmy Nelson day today. That means it's a stacking day. The Cardinals have got plenty of power. Nelson is 1-4 with a 7.83 ERA on his last 7 trips to the hill. He hasn't beaten the Cardinals in 2 starts against them, despite them both taking place before the wheels really came off of his season. I'll take first baseman Matt Adams for 3,700. He has the platoon. He's hitting .250 with 14 homers and has got 2 in the last 3 games he's played. Outfielder Stephen Piscotty for 4,200 is a .279 hitter with 20 home runs. He's hitting .348 in his last 7 games. Brandon Moss, who qualifies in first in the outfield, is in a horrible slump at the moment. His price is down to 3,900. He has the platoon. He's hit only .247 now with the, I think he's had 1 hit in the last 7 games. He's got 25 home runs this year, and he is going to break out of it at some point. Second baseman Matt Carpenter for 4,900. He has the platoon and a home run against Jimmy Nelson. He's hitting .278 with 18 homers on the year. And outfielder Randall Grichuk for 4,800 is a .240 hitter with 22 home runs on the season. He's hit .357 with 3 bombs in his last 7 games. Call me crazy, but in a hitter's yard with a team that has been fairly destructive against left-handed pitching this year, I'm going to take the Snakes against Madison Bumgarner today, despite his solid record against them this year and the way he's pitched in his recent starts. He hasn't faced them at Chase Field yet. Not that that's a particularly good thing with Arizona's awful record at home. Anyway, shut up before I talk myself out of it. Second baseman Jean Segura for 3,600 is a .316 hitter with 12 home runs and 30 steals and is on the right side of the platoon, as is first baseman Paul Goldschmidt for 4,300. He has 2 home runs against Bumgarner, hitting .298 with 20 homers and 23 steals. Outfield, he has Manny Tomas for 3,300. He also has the platoon, has much stronger numbers against left-handed pitching. He's a .260 hitter with 27 home runs. And Wellington Castillo, the catcher, for 3,800. He was a late scratch on Wednesday night, so obviously check the lineup to make sure he's there. But he is also on the right side of the platoon, has got 2 home runs against Bumgarner, is a .274 hitter with 12 home runs. And finally, we should probably look to stack some Mariners against Daniel Mengen of Oakland, who has had his struggles this year. 1-6, I think, on the year with a 6.66 ERA. He was no better in his last start, giving up a shed load of runs. He gave up 7 in just under 3 innings against Boston in his first start back after his minor league stint. The Mariners are much better against a right-handed pitcher, so I'll take outfielder Seth Smith for 3,700. He's on the right side of the platoon, hitting .263 with 13 homers. He's .417 with 2 homers in the last 7 games. Third baseman Kyle Seager for 4,800. He's also on the right side of the platoon. He's hitting .295 with 27 homers on the year, .440 with 2 home runs in his last 7 games. Second baseman Robinson Cano is 5,200. He's a .303 hitter with 32 home runs and on the right side of the platoon today. He's hitting .368 with 4 home runs in his last 15 games. And outfielder Nelson Cruz for 4,100 has hit .280 this year, 35 home runs. 3 of them have come in the last 7 games. My foundation players today at first base, Anthony Rizzo of the Chicago Cubs is 5,600. He's got the platoon advantage against Musgrove of the Houston Astros. He has been leaking runs. The reason I haven't stacked Cubs is because I'm not entirely sure on them today, purely because Musgrove, if you look at his numbers, most of the runs he's been leaking away, he's a sort of 5-inning starts, have in the main been on the road. He's been pretty good when he's pitched in Houston, so that's why I'm only really going to use Anthony Rizzo today, who is hitting .295 with 29 homers on the season, 3 of them coming in his last 7 games. Second baseman Daniel Murphy for Washington for 5,500. He has the platoon advantage against Jake Thompson of the Phillies. He's hitting .345 with 25 homers. Thompson's got a little bit better the last couple of starts after a hideous start to the year for him. Third baseman Adonis Garcia of the Atlanta Braves for 4,700. He's hitting .270 with 13 home runs. I'm not still sold yet on Selman of the Mets. I'm willing to change my mind on that because he is proving me wrong at the moment, but I still don't believe a pitcher with an ERA that high in the minors can suddenly chop over 2 runs off their ERA in the majors. Shortstop Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians for 5,100. The switch hitter draws Tyler Duffy, who's allowed 11 runs in his last 2 games. Lindor is hitting .322 with 14 homers and 17 steals a year. And in the outfield, I'll take Trey Turner of the Washington Nationals, who can also be used at second base, for 5,300. He's a .344 hitter with 6 home runs and 21 steals that's batting .400 in his last 15 games. My value play today, I'll take Stephen Vogt at catcher of the Oakland Athletics for 3,200. He's on the right side of the platoon against Hisashi Iwakuma. He hits up towards the top of the lineup, certainly much higher than most other catchers. It's a .256 hitter with 11 home runs this year. At first base, I will take Pedro Alvarez of the Baltimore Orioles for 3,500. He's on the right side of the platoon against Fulmer of Detroit, who has started to struggle a little bit more lately. Pedro Alvarez is hitting .255 with 20 home runs this year. Second baseman Starlin Castro of the New York Yankees for 3,500 is a .263 hitter with a 20 home runs on the year, and he has the platoon against Snell of the Rays. Third baseman Evan Longoria of Tampa for 3,700. He has a home run off of Michael Pineda, who is not a reliable pitcher, hasn't had a good start since June. He's hitting .280 with 31 home runs on the year. Shortstop Xander Bogaerts of Boston for 3,900. He has a home run against the fly ball pro Marco Estrada, who has also been struggling a little bit of late, particularly with the long ball. Bogaerts is hitting .300 with 17 home runs on the year. And in the outfield, I'll take Mark Trumbo of Baltimore for 4,000. He's a threat to go deep on any night. He's a .255 hitter with 41 home runs. That's what I got for you. Don't suck today. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like the video, hit me up in the comments with the daily fantasy plays you like today, and press that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I will be here all MLB season and through the NFL season with daily fantasy sports advice. If you haven't signed up yet, or you're interested in starting to play daily fantasy sports, please click the link in the description for this video, and that'll take you where you need to go to start playing with DraftKings today. Best of luck with your lineups and have a great day.